Yeah, I think you realize how important work-life balance is when you have children, when you start to realize like, hey, you want to spend more time with your kids and everything like that, because then it's a game changer.
I think that also pandemic has opened up the opportunity for me to create a better balance. Because what I learned now is I do best by time blocking, right? So I time block my morning with fitness and a certain routine every single morning until about 10 o'clock. I use 10 o'clock to 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon to take phone call meetings. And then the end of the day, I usually try to use from 3 to 6 to wrap up issues for the day. And that's like, it doesn't always end up that way, but it's in general kind of how I run my life. And then I want to be home every single night to spend 2 or 3 hours. And I look back to how I grew up, and my father was never really home. He was always working. He was never there. He was always working. And I think for the first part of my life, I resented him a little bit for it, and then I started to realize how much I respected him for doing it, because he wasn't doing it for him, he was doing it for us. But you don't understand that when you're a kid, because person's just not there, right? He was always working. And then I also feel like he ingrained something in me that was invaluable, because I became a hard worker because I learned it by watching him. But that's conscious in my brain. Like, I have to be a hard worker, but I also have to be good about spending time with my family. So it's tough to have that balance sometimes, but again, the pandemic has made that easier, because everybody's working from home. I was able to spend more time at home, whether either work from there or be closer to home so I could be there when I needed to be. But I think in general, you just have to have a routine that's reasonable to keep you at your top level of performance. So how do I keep myself at a top level of performance? Well, I got to get a certain amount of sleep every night, and that's probably the one thing I'm not very good at sometimes, like where I don't get enough sleep. But sleep is really important for everything. Mm-hmm. And I got to spend the right amount of time doing stuff that makes me as a person better, so physically and mentally better. And then I got to spend some of that time. Who was it? It was Kobe. It was actually Kobe Bryant, and I love Kobe Bryant. So I'll go back to what he said. He said that he basically started taking the helicopter, which ended up being his demise almost, because he wanted to spend more time at home, because he didn't want to spend 3 hours in the car. He wanted to spend more time, so he started taking the helicopter because he wanted to be home with his kids more. And he also said, if I can play a game with a broken finger or a torn up knee or whatever it is, because I want it so bad, if I come home and I'm dead tired because I worked all day, and my daughter comes to me and she wants me to play basketball with her, I got to get the motivation up to do that every single day. Like, I got to use as much motivation as I do and when he said that, it kind of really rang true to me. And sometimes I go home. Last time I went home, and it was 7:30 by the time I got home, and my son wanted to drive back to my daughter, wanted to draw, and I was just like, all right, let's get it done. You know what I mean? Because then sometimes you just try to say, hey, I just walked in, give me a break, but it's just like, that's not fair to them either. So I think that's the work balance. I think I have to be as motivated at home as I am. I have to be as motivated with my fitness. I have to be as motivated with my eating. I have to be as motivated with everything as I am at work to make money. Or there is no balance. Mm-hmm. There's no balance for me. So I think as far as me personally, over the years, more and more, I've tried to work as hard at everything else as I work here in the office.
Yeah, I think you realize how important work-life balance is when you have children, when you start to realize like, hey, you want to spend more time with your kids and everything like that, because then it's a game changer. You want to spend more, you want to get the best performance possible out of your day as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, but at the same time, you want to give your family 100% as well. And whether, regardless if that's coming home early, whether that's taking your family on vacation or whatever it is, I think that's the most important. Having that before, if you spoke to me when I first opened up the business and I was in other businesses and doing other things, you'd go from one to another, and after 5 o'clock you can go here, you go here, you go here. By the time you go home, you don't have time for anything, and then it becomes almost like you go to sleep and you wake up and you go to work, go to sleep and wake up to go to work, and it's just not. With kids or without kids, or with a family or without a family, that burns you out. And I think one of the main things that many business owners go through is that they feel that they have to give their business 150, 200% right from the start. But then what happens is that you mentally become burned out. And even going away for a sole trip, that burning drive for you to continue every day just kind of disappears. And with time, you realize that, if you put together a schedule, for example, I know that 5 o'clock, like, hey, I'm done. I'm leaving, whatever it is, whoever calls, does that matter? I can, the world's not going to end if I don't get this done today. I have to go home. I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my kids. I have to do this. Whatever it may be, whatever your motivating factor, whatever you have outside going on, it's very important that you kind of give that life, the same amount of time. Like for example, for me, if I leave at 5, I leave now at 5 o'clock. If I want to go to the gym, I can't go to the gym in the morning, so I'll go to the gym at night. So I've been doing a lot of different trainings through with CKO, kickboxing gym. So I enjoyed that. I used to go to the gym regularly. Then I realized, hey, I'm getting big and bulky. I don't really like that. So I want to try something different. So I know you talked about a little bit about sparring races and stuff. So that was all very interesting to me, and I wanted something to make me feel stronger.
You be challenged constantly, yeah.
And it gave me that challenge. But the classes started at 6 o'clock, and sometimes if I left at 6:30 or 7, I would miss that class and the class after, and I didn't want to go to the gym at 8:30 at night. So I just made it a priority. Like, hey, listen, I want to leave at 5 o'clock. I need to go home. I need to change. I need to go to the gym. And after the gym, I want to be able to spend time with my family, spend time with my friends, go out somewhere, maybe have a good dinner, have whatever it is. I want to be able to enjoy that, because that's going to continue to keep the light, keep that fire burning inside you for a longer period of time, where you have that drive to make your business successful over the long term.
I agree.
Because you're going to get burned out. I mean, you get burned out in a year or 6 months of doing certain things. I mean, imagine that's just consistent.
And you hit it on the head. It's not even that necessarily you're overworking every single time. You just get burned out of the repetitive thing every single day, and you're burning in a million directions. You don't know where you're going. So it's good to have structure. You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy? I find myself also knowing that, okay, I have 2 hours. I get more work done in those 2 hours than I would spend having 8 hours in the office.
Because you concentrate on what you're doing.
Yeah.
You concentrate on the task.
Focus. You're like, hey, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to get this job done, and I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Done.